Welcome to the Purposely Aligned Entrepreneur Podcast presented by Boss Girl Creative. This is episode number 439. Today, I'm talking about the magic of SEO. Now let's dive in.
Have you already found business success but feel lonely at the top? Or do you feel like you're at a place in your business where others just don't get it? Or maybe you feel like you have to make yourself smaller in order for others to not feel less than. Or maybe just a little bit of all three? But with all that said, there is good news because I've been there and I see you, sister. I'm Taylor Bradford, the torchbearer of this podcast and sisterhood, and I'm here to lead and inspire you to stay purposely aligned in the success you have found and provide you with support, guidance, and a sisterhood to keep going. Because I do get it. Your business journey isn't meant to be traveled alone. So grab a notebook, your favorite pen, and a bevy, and let's dive into this together with this latest podcast episode. Welcome to the Purposely Aligned Entrepreneur Podcast presented by Boss Girl Creative and me.
Hello, welcome to episode number 439. I am your host, Taylor Bradford. Thank you so much for tuning in and pressing play. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this episode, which is all about SEO and a quick refresher for you and your website, let's check out what's been going on in social media land with this week's social media headlines. Social media headline number 1, Meta adds new tools for Reels creators, including A/B testing, reach-based incentives, and more. A heap of new testing and insight options for Facebook Reels are happening as we speak. Social media headline number 2, Instagram adds song lyrics display in Reels clips. Now you can display song lyrics in your Reels clips should you want to. Social media headline number 3, Elon Musk launches new Grok AI chatbot to compete with ChatGPT. The new chatbot will be made available to X Premium Plus subscribers. And I have no idea if that's how you pronounce it, but it's spelled Grok. And that wraps up this week's social media headlines. So I happen to be in Las Vegas as I am recording this episode. I'm actually in attendance or here in Vegas for Wedding MBA, which is a business conference for wedding professionals. I'm recording in the bathroom. I have actually recorded in plenty of bathrooms throughout my years as a podcaster. I try not to do that. I try to always record in my little tiny closet in my home, but you know what? When life happens, you got to roll with the punches, and it's busy wedding season. And here I am sitting on the floor in the toilet room in my suite recording a podcast. So this is probably, I don't know when I started coming to Wedding MBA, but anyways, it's a great conference for wedding pros of all abilities, of all business levels, of all years of experience. And yeah, so I already purchased tickets for next year, 2024, and I enjoy Vegas. So it's always a great excuse to pop over here and have some Vegas time, but also get my learn on and hope that I learn something or just have a good refresher, because it's really easy to get stuck in the hustle and the grind and forget that you also need to be the CEO of your business and work on it, not necessarily in it all of the time. So kind of a great break, even though Wedding MBA falls in the busiest time for wedding pros in the South. Nobody asked me, nobody asked any of the wedding pros in the South if this was a great time for a business conference, but we keep showing up year after year, and I guess it is what it is. But we're talking about the magic of SEO, and I don't want to make any promises because SEO actually takes effort. There's no magic behind it in the sense that something's going to magically happen for you and you are going to reap lots of rewards and benefits because of magic. You actually have to put some effort into SEO, and there is a myriad of things you can do. And with this particular episode, we're going to walk our way through and kind of chat about those things, kind of as a refresher, kind of as a, hey, you know what? If you are about to roll into slow season, this is a really great opportunity for you to make some updates, some changes, make some pivots, whatever it might be. This would be an episode for you. If you're stuck in the busy and you're not seeing the horizon, you're not seeing the forest through the trees, you're like, I don't know when I'm going to catch a break, then just earmark this episode for something in the future, because your website, like I have said for years and years and years and years, is the thing that you have full control over. And having a strong strategy when it comes to how you write blog posts, how you build out your static pages, which would be your home page, your about page, your contact page, your FAQ page, all of that matters to help you show up in search results. And we all know that the world of online is rapidly changing, and the landscape is not anything like it was even a year ago. And we've got ChatGPT in the mix, we've got AI in the mix. There's all these things. We've got Google's Core 4 or Google 4, whatever it is called, that is the new analytic tracking code that you install. You got to upgrade your Google Analytics if you haven't already done that. There's so much that has changed in the last year that sometimes it can just be hard to A, keep up, B, like, should I do this? Is this important? And all of that. So we're going to dive into the magic of SEO when really the magic is you, the person doing the work behind the scenes. And so, so with the Google algorithm, so they're constantly making adjustments, and I can't even fathom what this is like. So Google is still like 88% like the powerhouse search engine that it's been. And it's actually losing some credibility. And credibility is actually probably not the right word. It's losing some of its powerhouseness to Bing of all search engines. Now, is Bing going to come out of left field and just like conquer Google? Absolutely not. But they are doing some things that is causing Google to lose some of their revenue. And so Google is constantly like, we've got to stay on top of this. We can't lose any more kind of mentality. So enter AI, and I'm sure that they would love to release more things out to the world, but they're also watching what Bing's doing, and Bing partnered somehow financially with ChatGPT, and that is what has given them kind of a leg up. And they're like, what do we have to lose? Like, I'm sure that's Bing's mentality. I don't know that for a fact, but they're like, what do we have to lose? We might as well try, try to conquer Google. So let's dive in to all the things. First things first, when you are thinking about what it is that you put forth out into the world via your website, these three things matter. The content has to be helpful to your ideal customer. You can't just write fluff. You can't write things that will not truly help somebody. So your content has to be helpful. Google wants to make sure when they serve up your content to somebody looking for it, that it is actually helpful. Also, very, very important as far as the algorithm goes with Google, the website user experience. What does your customer experience when they are on your website? Whether it is desktop, whether it is their tablet, whether it is their phone. This really matters, because if it is hard to maneuver around, you will lose customers left and right. And Google is tracking how long people are on your website. So you want to make sure that you are creating a strong, just well thought out website user experience. And then the other thing that you want to make sure is right up there is you're being authentic. You're providing an experience for people on your website, and you're an authority. You are the thing that they are coming to find the answers from, and they're like, yes, this person gets me. This is the information I was looking for. All of this matters to Google. Way back in the day, we used to talk about long form content and writing, 3,000 word articles for Google just to help your search engine rankings. That part doesn't matter anymore, as long as the content is helpful to the person searching for it. That is what matters. So I want you to keep that just like under your cap for future reference. So what do you need to think about when it comes to what you are adding to your website? Again, I'm going to repeat myself and say, your website is a thing that you control. Your email list is a thing you can control. Everything else is out of your control. So focus on the things that you can control. Get people to flow back to your website. When you are doing your marketing through social media and through your email newsletter system, whatever your workflows are, they have to come back to your website because that is the thing that you can control. Lead everybody back to your website. If they're looking to contact you, to inquire with you, make sure if they text message you, if they DM you somewhere, that you are driving them back to your website. Don't answer questions on the other platforms. Don't respond to random questions. Point them to an FAQ page on your website. Point them to your inquiry form. Point them to something back on your website because that is what truly matters. So one of the biggest changes that Google has been working towards, and I don't know if this is actually out of their kind of beta moment or not, the word on the street is it may come out of the beta classification at the end of this year of 2023, and it may roll out to everybody January 1. Who knows? But Google wants you to have more conversational and visual answers through your website, but also your Google My Business listing. So one thing that I want you to focus on, if you don't take anything away, but this one thing, I want you to focus on this one thing. Regardless of if you're a service or you are an actual brick and mortar, your Google My Business listing is so incredibly important. And it's definitely something that you don't want to set and forget. This is something that you want to make sure that you stay on top of and update regularly so that people will see that you're still active and you're signaling to Google that you still matter. Like your business needs to be shown to people, and this is important. So I want you to remember, again, if you don't take anything else from this particular episode, I want you to key in and focus in on keeping your Google My Business listing up to date and current. So what's interesting about the Google My Business listing is because they are constantly testing and tuning and rolling out new things that you can fill out, rolling out new ways for you to reach a customer. This is why it's important to keep it up to date and to keep it current. So you may see things come in to your Google My Business listing that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And one thing that Google is signaling to people is that they want you to be more conversational and also provide more visual answers. This is why short form content is so incredibly powerful right now on the social media platforms. So I will be curious to see how this actually plays out in the Google world, because I can see how this would really boost your Google My Business listing if you were able to create content or repurpose content from your social media platforms into your Google My Business listing. So just keep your eyes out for that, because I think that that could be very, very powerful. You know, that saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and this next generation of users are going right to image search and reverse image search to find answers, and not looking at what pops up on the main Google search page for the thing that they're searching. So this will be telling on who stays relevant and who doesn't stay relevant. So I think what you will also begin to see in the future is more content geared towards how people are searching for things. For example, I don't know about you, but I will, turn my microphone on my phone and speak to either Siri or Alexa, or even the Google. Like, I need you to verbatim what I'm saying so I can do a quick search, and I am being conversational about what it is that I'm looking for, which is why the conversation part matters. When you are literally talking into the microphone to figure out, what it is that you're searching for. So if I go into my search history on my phone, I can see that because I've been watching Friends lately due to the unfortunate loss of Matthew Perry, I have been starting at the beginning of Friends and rewatching the series, and somebody will pop up on the screen that I'm like, oh my gosh, who is that? And I will go into my phone, go into Safari, and then go to Google, and then turn on the microphone, and I legitimately said Rachel's mom's name in Friends. I was literally just talking into the microphone, and then Google served up the results that I was looking for. So being conversational, look towards being more conversational in how you think about your content and think about who is actually searching and how they're searching. So how are people searching things? Are they using their microphone and speaking to a device instead of typing? Because ultimately what that's going to do is end up in a larger or longer search query. And you guys know that I love Google Search Console and all of the keyword research options that you have out in the world of the World Wide Web. And usually it's just like you focus in on the one keyword, the short tail keyword, and not necessarily the long tail keyword, although you want some long tail keywords in there. Look to see more long tail keywords, like more conversational keywords happening. I think that that is going to be something for sure that we will be seeing. And then especially if you have a local business, what is your area called? Like, here's an example. In my area, it is known as DFW or North Texas. And when somebody comes to Dallas or they come to Fort Worth, usually they say, oh, I'm in Dallas, even though they might be in Frisco, or they may be in Rockwall, or they may be in Fort Worth of all places. But you'll still hear people say Dallas. And it's like, yeah, but that's not right. You're not in Dallas, but that's a slang term for our area, and that's why it actually upsets a lot of people. No, you're in Fort Worth. That is an hour away from Dallas. Actually, it's not truly an hour. It's about 45 minutes, but the Metroplex is large. And so I just want you to consider, in your area, are there slang terms that people use to describe your area? And is that known to the locals? And think about where those slang terms can go on your website or your Google My Business listing, because those things matter. Those things will absolutely matter. So I want you to think about those things. So let's talk about the meat of SEO. The meat of SEO actually happens with a blog. Now, your website can be SEO friendly even if you have static landing pages, which again is your about page, your home page, your contact page, your inquiry page, etc. But your blog is the thing that will get updated the most if you are running a blog. So writing blog posts that will help you rank for the searches that people are looking for, answers. It will help you increase website traffic to your website. It will also help you build trust and authority based on whatever it is that you do or sell. And it will allow you to build long-term relationships and experiences with customers, whether it is new customers or returning customers. So having a blog really is important. And it does allow you to signal out to Google that you are still in business, that you are still functioning, that you are still selling things, whatever that might be, instead of, just having an about page that you only update once in a blue moon, or your services page, So keeping something more functional, more robust, more automatic, even though writing blog posts is not automatic. Even please don't go down the road of ChatGPT to be your blog writer, because let me tell you, that won't do you very well. I mean, people will see through that a mile away. So just be mindful of that. Something else to consider when you are writing blog posts is to link to other blog posts that are similar in relationship to the thing that you're writing about. So if I give an example for the Sugar Creek blog, it would be fall weddings. And we need to be linking to past fall weddings so that we can show that we have lots of clients that have had fall weddings, and here is some information, or here is some inspiration. So I want you to make sure when you are writing blog posts that you are linking back into your archives to content that makes sense to be linked together. Links will help boost your authority and basically signal to Google that you are the go-to person for that type of content. But I want you to make sure that it's quality content. You're not just writing just to write. And like I said at the very beginning, or somewhere in the very beginning, that, Google just updated their analytics into, I think, Core 4, Google 4. I don't exactly remember the name, but it's important that you get your analytics updated to that, because that is going to help continue to give you the data that you can study. And so I want you to make sure that you make time to do that. I want you to make sure that your website is mobile responsive, meaning it looks good on a phone, it looks good on a tablet, it looks good on a desktop. If you are image heavy in your website, Sugar Creek's website is full of images. We are so image heavy. I'm grateful that we have some plugins that we use that help compress our files so that our website does load quickly. But I do know that because we are so image heavy that I do have to go back in routinely to double check, how do I make it load faster? Because sometimes I am sitting on my own website and I'm like, why is it not working? And it's because I've got so much content with photos galore that the photos are just really kind of dragging the site down. So I want you to make sure that you test your page speed, test your website speed to make sure that you aren't losing people that don't want to wait on your website to load. So use an image compression app if you need to. There's one called Tiny PNG that you might take a look at if you don't have something already built into WordPress, etc. Make sure that you have a Google My Business listing and keep it up to date. Update it regularly. And look at making your website work for you better. So again, going back into blog posts that might, be relevant to something else you've written in the past, and then going back into those old posts and linking them to content in the future. You never know where somebody's coming from and what they land on. So provide them something to go to after they land on the thing that they just sought out. Now, obviously, if you have a sales funnel, it would be to get them into your sales funnel. But if it is more education or more information, then link them into additional blog articles that give them more information based on that topic that they came in seeking. So I hope that gives you some stuff to work on, some magic to work on because you're the magic holder, you're the magic creator of your business empire in the land of the World Wide Web. And again, if you're in busy season, I totally get it. This is something that you'll need to come back to, but I want you to make this be a focus in a slower time so that you can allow Google to work for you. You know, that Google's really powerful and they will always be powerful, even with Bing trying to take more of their percentage. But Google is where people go. So for the most part, 88% of people go to Google. Use Google. Let Google work for you. And thank you so much for listening to this episode. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of this week.
Oh, wait, before I go, thank you truly for your support of my own business journey and this podcast, The Purposely Aligned Entrepreneur. If you know another entrepreneur who is in the same business trenches, who has already found success but might be feeling a bit lonely in their journey, my hope is that you'll share this podcast and this sisterhood with them. Because this, what we do day in and day out, isn't meant to be done alone. Speaking of lonely, if you're ready to squash the business journey loneliness, stop what you're doing right now and join the sisterhood. Visit bossgirlcreative.com/sisterhood. I can't wait to see you in there.